Today is a historic day in India's history. It was on this very day 25 years ago that the rupee was devalued against the dollar, which in turn signaled the beginning of our economic reform process. The government was close to default and its foreign exchange reserves had dried up to the point that India could barely finance 3 weeks' worth of imports. From 19.64 to the dollar in March 1991, the rupee shot up to 31.23 a year later, and that translated to a drop of a whopping 59%. The consequence was that the next 3 years saw the trade deficit shrivel to barely 1/6 of the size, and the non-oil trade balance moved from a deficit to a massive surplus. Here are three prominent witnesses of that period. Rangarajan, the former RBI Governor, Bimal, Jalan, also the former RBI Governor, and Jairam Ramesh of the Congress Party on the 30 days that changed India forever.
Mr. Narasimha was just not prepared to consider devaluation. But I think Dr. Manmohan Singh and Dr. Rangarajan, who was the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank, convinced Mr. Narasimha that there is no option to devaluation. And I had a 1-hour discussion with, I was then officer on special duty to Mr. Narasimha. He called me to Hyderabad house, and after an iftar dinner, he asked me, take me through the benefits of one-step devaluation versus two-step devaluation. So I explained to him, took a piece of paper, and said, what happens when you do a one-step devaluation? Why do you need a two-step devaluation? Because you need to test the market. The first step tests the market, it tests the political reaction, and then you do a two-step devaluation. He says, Manmohan is putting pressure on me to have a two-step devaluation. I said, sir, he is the best judge. I remember my telling him that he is the best judge, and I think you should follow his advice.
The situation, in fact, was so difficult, and if I may use the word, so desperate, that even those people who were not normally inclined towards devaluation really did not raise the objection in a big way. In a somewhat different situation, it could have happened that the opposition, particularly from a political or a sovereignty angle, would have raised it. But here was a situation in which the condition was such that the action had to be taken. There are some reports which say that Mr. Narasimha Rao, after the first step, had some reservations. But as far as I was concerned, who was at the executing end, I got no signal. And I did according to the plan. I went ahead and did it on July 3rd.
It was supposed to be politically uncomfortable to depreciate. The word depreciation itself means that you are doing something which is demeaning, So there were all those kind of issues, and I am very glad that the government took action which was required under those circumstances, and they took quick, as you said, the action was taken with consensus within the government, but the leadership at that particular point of time was extremely, strong. And they took action which was in the country's interest, despite a lot of criticism which came up in the papers and in the media and everywhere else.